Have you ever paused, really paused, and wondered why, despite everything you've learned, all you've awakened to, and all the light you've welcomed into your life, there still seems to be something missing? Something subtle, something you can't quite name, like a gentle veil between who you are and who you know you're meant to be. You felt it, that calling, that quiet whisper in your soul, reminding you that there's more than what this reality shows you. More than the noise, the fear, the striving, more than just surviving this world. The truth is, your shift into the fifth dimension has already begun. But the 5D experience isn't a place. It's not a future event. It's not waiting for someone to guide you there. It is a state of being, a sacred alignment with the divine energy that already flows through your essence. And yet, many of us, starseeds, awakened souls, cosmic wanderers, are still unknowingly holding ourselves back. We search, we seek, we strive for connection, but often we forget the most important part: to allow. This is the invitation. To remember that 5D is not something we reach by effort, it is something we surrender into. In this journey, we'll explore not just how to begin your 5D shift, but how to truly embody it, from the inside out. Not with techniques or strategies, but through honest presence, deep awareness, and a heart open to divine flow. And so, as we begin, let go of what you think you need to become. You don't need to become anything. You only need to remember who you already are. And then, a voice arises. But it's not just any voice, not the kind that speaks through noise or commands attention with volume. It is quiet, precise, like a song remembered in the deepest part of you, carried across lifetimes, now finding its way back to your awareness. This is the voice of Tia, an emissary of the Arcturian Council, a being whose presence doesn't speak to you but through you. She comes not to teach, but to remind, not to awaken you, for you are already awake, but to help you remember what you've forgotten. Tia's message is both simple and infinitely profound. Your 5D experience does not begin with effort. It begins with undoing. Undoing the walls you built to protect yourself from your own light. Undoing the beliefs that say you must struggle to be worthy. Undoing the illusion that God, source the universe, is something outside of you. For eons, humanity has lived under the weight of separation. We've believed in distance between ourselves and the divine. We've thought of spiritual connection as a reward, something earned through discipline or purity. But Tia's presence dissolves that illusion. She reminds us, softly, but with unshakable clarity, you have never been disconnected. You only believed you were. The shift to 5D isn't about ascending to a higher place. It's about descending into the fullness of your being, not running away from the human, but embracing it so deeply that it becomes divine. Tia shows us that the Creator's energy, that infinite loving current, is already flowing through you. But we have restricted it with fear, with shame, with the belief that we must do more to be enough. She says, stop trying to hold the light. Be the space where it flows. This is not philosophy. This is remembering. This is embodiment. And perhaps this is where the real shift begins, not in reaching up, but in opening within. One of the most persistent illusions we carry, often without even realizing, is the belief that the fifth dimension is a place, that it's somewhere we'll go someday, after enough healing, enough learning, enough surrender, as if it were a door waiting to be unlocked only by the few who've earned their way in. But Tia offers us a truth that feels less like a lesson and more like a remembering. 5D is not a destination. It's a state of being. It's not somewhere. It's how you exist. It's the way you see, the way you feel, the way you vibrate in relationship with all that is. Imagine tuning a radio. The music doesn't suddenly appear. It was always there, but you weren't tuned in. That's 5D. It's not a future event. It's not waiting out there. It's available in the now, in this breath, in this choice, in this very heartbeat. In 5D, you begin to move differently. You don't react from fear, you respond from awareness. You don't grasp, you allow. You don't seek control, you trust the current of your soul. Being in 5D doesn't mean escaping the world. It means walking within it as a luminous awakened presence. It means seeing pain without collapsing into suffering. It means feeling the chaos without becoming it. In this dimension of consciousness, love is not a reward. It is the fabric of reality. The present moment becomes sacred. Time becomes spacious. Stillness becomes potent. And here's the most powerful truth. You don't earn your way to 5D, you choose your way there. Why? Every moment you let go of the illusion of lack, every breath where you remember that you are held by something greater, every time you say yes to love, even when it's hard, you are living in 5D. And so, the question shifts. It's no longer, when will I get there? It becomes, how deeply am I willing to allow it? Right here, right now, as I am. There is something that moves beneath all things, a quiet rhythm, an invisible current, a divine pulse that connects the stars to the cells of your body and everything in between. This is the flow of the Creator. It's not a force outside of you. It's not something you have to chase or earn. It is something that arises through you, from within your very being, because it is you. Tia reminds us that this flow is always present, always moving, always offering itself. It doesn't need to be summoned, it needs to be allowed. And yet, so many of us, even those awake, even those remembering, still block it. Not out of failure, but out of habit, out of fear, out of the deep conditioning of lifetimes spent in survival mode. Our minds have been trained to grip. Our egos have been shaped to protect, and often, our hearts have learned to close, even to love. But the Creator's flow does not demand effort. It doesn't ask you to earn it. It only asks for one thing. Make space. Space for the energy to move. Space for your soul's voice to rise. Space for grace to enter. And making space is not passive. It's a conscious act of surrender, of softening, of choosing to trust something deeper than the fear. Think of the sun. It doesn't try to shine. It simply shines. That's what the divine essence in you is like. When you're aligned with the flow of the Creator, you stop reaching for power. You become power. You stop chasing answers. You embody wisdom. You stop striving and start radiating. And in that radiance, something miraculous happens. Abundance begins to appear. Not because you pushed for it, not because you manifested it with perfect thoughts, but because you became a clear channel, and all that is in harmony with your truth flows to you, through you, as you. That's the power of surrender. That's the essence of divine flow. There's a quiet paradox in the awakening journey. Something subtle, something not easily seen, but deeply felt by many who walk the path of light. It's that moment when, despite all your growth, despite your awareness, your inner work, your spiritual discipline, something still feels stuck. You meditate, you journal, you pray, you affirm, you try to surrender. And yet, there's a subtle tension, a quiet wall. This is what Tia gently reveals to us. Sometimes the block doesn't come from the unconscious mind. It comes from the spiritual self. Yes, the part of you that woke up, the part that remembered you are light, the part that started speaking the language of energy and alignment. This part can sometimes resist. Why? Because it's attached. It has formed identities. It has created goals, spiritual goals. It believes, I must always be high vibe. I shouldn't feel anger. If something goes wrong, I must not be aligned. And without realizing, it begins to judge, to compare, to control the flow it once sought to join. But here's the truth. The Creator's flow does not respond to perfection. It responds to presence. It doesn't require you to shine brightly every day. It invites you to be real, even when you're tender, especially when you're raw. The deepest alignment doesn't come from trying to stay high. It comes from saying, "Today I feel afraid. Today I feel uncertain. And still, I choose to remain open." This is the most spiritual act of all. Because in that openness, in that radical honesty, the Creator moves through you again, not to fix you, but to remind you, you were never broken. There's a quiet shadow that still lingers, even in the hearts of many awakened souls. A subtle voice, a soft undercurrent of doubt. It's the illusion of lack, not just about money or material needs, but something much deeper. The belief that you are missing something inside to be truly complete. TAA shows us that this is one of the oldest programs running in the human experience. The idea that you must strive, prove, improve. That abundance is always just beyond the next breakthrough. That peace, love, worth are out there, if only you were more aligned. It's a trick of the old matrix, a wound of separation, a belief inherited across lifetimes, yes, that says, you are not enough. But here's the truth. The Creator does not create lack. The Creator is infinite fullness, and so are you. Lack isn't real. It's a perception. It's born of forgetting. And the moment you choose to remember who you are, it begins to dissolve. This is the deeper invitation, not to chase more, but to return to center, to realize that abundance is not something you achieve, it's something you awaken by tuning in. When you breathe with presence, when you feel gratitude for even the smallest things, when you stop waiting for your life to start and honor what's already here, you send a clear signal to the universe. I recognize the enough. I recognize the wholeness. I recognize the source within me. And when that signal is sent from your soul, energy begins to flow. The field opens, and all that once felt distant begins to arrive, not through effort, but through alignment. Because you're no longer vibrating with lack, you're vibrating with truth, and the truth is, you are already whole. There's a question that echoes softly through the inner chambers of the awakened soul. Why do you seek the divine? It's a gentle question, but a powerful one. Have you ever truly felt into it? What is it that moves you on your spiritual path? Are you seeking the divine out of love, or out of need? Do you seek to remember, or to be rescued? Tia gently invites us to explore this, not to judge, but to illuminate. Because often, even in our awakened states, we carry old patterns into our connection with Source. I want to align so I can manifest. I want to meditate so the pain stops. I want to pray so things work out. These intentions are real. They're human, they're valid, but are they rooted in love or in transaction? Many of us have related to the divine as if it were some cosmic vending machine. But the Creator is not here to fulfill our wish list. The Creator is here to awaken us to who we truly are. And when we approach the divine with reverence instead of expectation, something shifts. We stop chasing results. We start seeking presence. We no longer want to have, we want to be. And in that being, love arises. Not the kind of love that waits for spiritual achievements, but the kind of love that simply is. You begin to love the Creator not because it grants you what you desire, but because it already is everything you are. The search begins to soften, the path begins to blur, and you realize you were never searching for God. You were always returning to yourself. There's something most of us were taught from a very young age, a silent message woven into the fabric of our culture. You must earn what you want, work hard, struggle, be worthy. Even on the spiritual path, that belief often lingers. We start to think abundance comes after we've healed enough, aligned enough, vibrated high enough. But Tia gently reminds us, true abundance is not earned, it is allowed. Abundance is the universe's natural rhythm. It doesn't need to be summoned, it's already flowing. Like the ocean, it's vast and endless, and it's always ready to pour into your life, if the gates are open. And those gates, they live within you. Receiving is not about worthiness. It's about openness. You can be doing all the right things energetically, but if fear, guilt, or self-judgment still linger, your inner gates stay only partially open. And this is the key. The Creator never withholds. It is we who sometimes withhold from ourselves. The state of receiving is a state of pure trust. It's when you look at the universe and say, I accept the good, I accept the flow, I accept my place in this infinite field of creation. And you don't say it because you think you've earned it. You say it because you remember you are already part of it all. The real miracle isn't what arrives. It's when you finally realize you never had to fight for it. You just had to allow. Awakening is not an event, it's a process. And perhaps even more than that, it's an eternal unfolding. How many times have you awakened to something new? How many times did you think you had arrived, only to realize days later there was still more to release? That's not failure. That's the nature of true awakening. It doesn't come with a diploma that says enlightened. It comes with a deeper surrender to the unknown. Tia speaks of the old self, the part of you that no longer resonates with your current vibration, and that self must be released. And here's the paradox. It's not just the limited self that needs letting go. Sometimes we must release the spiritual persona we've built to feel safe. That version of us who knows the right words, who meditates daily, who talks about ascension, yet deep down is still afraid to just be without roles, labels, or masks. Letting the old self go is an act of courage. It's allowing room for a new you to emerge, one that doesn't yet have a name. It's a willingness to be seen, not as an image of light, but as the light itself, raw, undefined, alive. It may feel uncomfortable. You may feel like parts of you are falling away, but in truth, you're not falling apart. You're coming home. You're not losing yourself. You're shedding what was never truly you. And as you release, you become lighter, the path becomes clearer, and the presence of the divine becomes undeniable. In everything, the old self isn't your enemy. It was a phase, a bridge, and now, it's time to cross over. The 5D shift isn't about going somewhere. It's about returning to your center. It's the realization that everything you've been searching for out there has always been within. 5D isn't a new planet. It's a new state of being. And in that state, you stop walking the path because you realize you are the path. You stop waiting for signs from the universe because now you are the sign. You no longer need to try to live in high vibration because your natural frequency is already high when you are whole, present, and in tune with the source flowing within you. Becoming a living portal of 5D is this: no longer running from yourself, no longer waiting for permission, but fully embodying who you already are, living with an open heart, eyes wide with soul, mind at peace, body as a temple, energy flowing, without fear, without blockages, without excuses. 5D isn't a future promise, it's a present invitation, and when you become that portal, you also become a bridge between worlds, between timelines, between frequencies. You begin to radiate silent light, and effortlessly, you begin to touch lives. This is how the world shifts. This is how the new earth arrives. From within, through you, to you who've always felt you didn't fully belong here, to you who dream of stars and feel homesick for something you can't name, to you who've cried silently, wondering if anyone truly sees you. You are not here by accident. You are a living bridge between galaxies, a memory of cosmic light, a spark of infinity wrapped in human skin, here now, out of love. Do not doubt your mission, even if it seems invisible. Do not dim your light, even if it shines quietly. You don't need to be loud to change the world. You only need to be who you are. You are loved, you are guided, you are exactly where you need to be. And the universe is within you.